to here, I guess. It's here. Oh shit, no, I'm just here instead, like this. Hi loves, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ariel, and for today's video I thought of doing a little like girl talk video. You know, it's currently like 10:52. I know you can't even see, but it's currently 10:52 right now, and you know, I'm in my PJs. This is actually the second video I'm filming for the day, so, but yeah, I had this idea to do like a girl talk video and stuff like that. It's kind of like a yap session about different topics and so on and so forth, so let's get into it. For the first video, the first topic, let's talk about relationships, right? Especially if you're a young girl, right? Let's talk about how I feel like Gen Z kind of rushes and forces relationships onto ourselves. Like, I feel like social media forces relationships onto us and kind of forces us to be in a relationship, and also causes unrealistic standards and expectations in those relationships. Sometimes it's kind of hard when, you know, you see everybody else in a relationship and you're not in a relationship. It kind of makes you question a lot of things about yourself, especially if you already have certain insecurities or are made to have certain insecurities. Like, sometimes you can feel like you're a late bloomer, and if you're young, like if you're like 16, 17, 18, 19, like that's very young. Like, you're still a teenager. You shouldn't expect to be in a relationship just because your friends are in a relationship. And I know there is a desire to be in a relationship, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, to want a relationship and to want love. Like, people say, oh well, focus on the love you're giving yourself, focus on yourself, you know, focus on self-love, so and so. But sometimes we do have self-love, but we just want the love of another person, and we just want to give love to another person, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Actually, that's not a bad thing at all, to want to love, to want a companion. We can say, oh, love yourself first. Okay, now what? You're still gonna want a relationship. That's not a bad thing, right? Especially as a young girl, when you're seeing your friends and other people in a relationship, it feels like, damn, what about me, right? But we have to remember, everyone's journey in life is different. Everyone's journey in life is different. Like, for example, like, just because you're seeing that your friend is getting into a relationship younger or faster than you, doesn't mean that you have to rush to get into a relationship as well. And that goes for like many different things, many aspects in life, even like career-wise and so on and so forth. There are many people that have done things younger than you or the same age as you, and that's not a bad thing. There are people who probably just left high school, just left college, and you're seeing and they look like they're already successful. They already have their life together, and it feels like you don't have yours together. But everyone's journey is different. And if you're just viewing it from a social media standpoint, you don't know if that's how their life actually is, right? Just because you're viewing it from a social media standpoint doesn't mean that's what is real. A lot of people fake stuff on social media, you know what I mean? Like, there are many things that you can fake on social media. You shouldn't just, you should really just take things on social media at face value. You don't know if that's how their life is for real. They could be depressed, they could be going through stuff, but even if they're not going through stuff, maybe they are living an amazing, great life, and that's amazing. But you shouldn't be so envious and jealous of them and then compare yourself to them and kind of put this burden on yourself, because your journey is not the same as their journey. your journey will never be the same as anybody else's journey. So we shouldn't rush into things all the time. We need to sometimes just take our time with things, right? Take our time. And sometimes we even limit ourselves. You shouldn't limit yourself to just one thing, right? So I feel like when you're young, sometimes you can feel like a late bloomer. Oh, I am 17, I've never had my first kiss. That's not a bad thing. No, I'm 18 now, right? When I was 17, I never had my first kiss. And I know a lot of my friends who have had their first kisses, their first relationships, so on and so forth. When I was 17, I didn't even hold anybody's hand. But is that a bad thing? Like, there are people who are like, 21, saying, oh, I've never even held a boy's hand. I've never even held a girl's hand. I've never even held someone's hand. That's not a bad thing. 21 is still young. 17 is way younger than 21. And yeah, we might see people who are like 15, 16 doing that stuff, but like, we're not doing it. But just because they're doing it doesn't mean that we have to do it. I feel like sometimes maybe we don't want a relationship, we just like the image and the aesthetic of a relationship. And because we see so much topics about relationships, we feel as though that we need to hurry up and get into a relationship or we're gonna be left behind. But life, there's no time on life. No matter what, there's no rush in anything. Going to college, starting that business, graduating, getting into a relationship. There's no rush. Don't rush anything in life. Just take your time and allow it to flow, and it will come to you. Okay? Don't just rush things. Like, when you rush things, always when you rush something, it's not gonna come out the best. Right? Let's say normally you make amazing brownies, right? Like the best brownies. But then when you made them that one time, you rushed them so they didn't come out as good as the other times. It's not good to always rush things, you know what I mean? Or like when you're rushing late to get to somewhere. Sometimes you might forget to do things or to take something because you're rushing, right? It's not a good thing to just rush into life. There's no time limit on life. I mean, yes, life is unpredictable. Like, life is not predictable and many things can happen, but still you don't know what's going to happen. So take your time. It's good to take your time. Take your time. Like, do not rush anything because you might end up regretting it later. Another aspect I wanted to talk about for a relationship is Shira 7. Now, Shira 7, she does give good relationship advice. However, I don't think all of us, depending on our age, should take her advice, right? Or all of us shouldn't take her advice in general, because sometimes some of her advice might not align with you. But she does give good advice. When it comes to the aspects of money, I would say. On social media, you see these topics about 50-50. Oh, you shouldn't want a 50-50. You shouldn't want this. You shouldn't want that. But then, and like, you shouldn't split this. You shouldn't split that. But like, not everybody is 30 and grown. You're 16, right? I've heard about 16-year-olds doing that. At 16, like, all you really be doing is like, going on like an ice cream date and stuff like that. I don't know what 16-year-olds do. I sound like I'm so old. I was 16 2 years ago, but like, I wasn't with nobody at 16. But like if you're in a relationship at 16 now, yeah, he's gonna get you cute gifts, sure, but you can't expect luxury ass gifts. You can't expect like for him to get you like that new iPhone 16 or something because you see another girl is getting that same thing. Or even with diary rings. I heard a lot about diary rings, and like, I was looking at diary rings, I was like, oh, that's cute, I want a diary ring. Why, when I go and look up the price of a diary ring, the cheapest one is like, what, 500, 450, like USD? Like, it's like, you're not gonna expect your 18-year-old boyfriend to get you like an $800 ring. Especially depending on like where you live too, because prices range. Their prices are in US. So depending on where you are, it's gonna be even more expensive. You can't expect that. Like, stop focusing on the relationships at such a young age and focus on your career, on your goals, on your future goals. Don't make your only personality trait about a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Like, you don't have to be in a relationship. I feel like we focus too much on relationships. Sometimes you do not need to be in a relationship. Sometimes you just need to focus on yourself. Like, oh yeah, something else I wanted to say. Be intentional with your future. Be very intentional about your future. Make a plan. See, like, when I first started college, like in 2022, I changed my major a bunch of times. First it was psychology, because I love psychology. Then it was English and English literature, because I like literature and stuff like that, and writing and stuff like that. Then I was like, I'm gonna do business, because I also love like accounting. I should have done accounts, but I really was thinking, I was like, oh well, business entails many different aspects, not just like accounting alone, I guess. I don't regret doing business, but I did business because I do want to get like my bachelor's in accounting and stuff like that. Anyways, I've had my plan. I have like 3 plans. What I mean by that is that I have like 2 backup plans. I have a main plan, I have a backup plan, a plan B, then I have a plan C. So I have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. If that one doesn't work out, then I have this. And then if that one doesn't work out, if plan B doesn't work out, then I have plan C, right? I have my plans, like, and I'm implementing them now because, you know, I don't want to waste time. Like, yeah, I want to get it going, you know, but I feel like we should be very intentional with our future, right? And with planning our future, instead of focusing so much on looks, we're focusing so much on a relationship. What about we focus on ourselves and what we generally want for our future, right? Instead of just focusing on that thing, on that like one aspect of our lives that we can get at any point in time. Like, you can always look for a boyfriend another day. Sometimes, like, yeah, and if you get a boyfriend now, that's great, but don't revolve your entire life, like when I say your entire life, around that boyfriend or that girlfriend. Don't do it. Don't revolve your life around somebody in general. You love them or you like them or whatever, right? And you're in a relationship with them. That's not a bad thing. But don't base everything off of them. Your emotions off of them. Your hobbies off of them. Your passions off of them. Like, you know how there are these girls, right, who sacrifice their entire career to move across the country for their boyfriend's career, and then their boyfriends end up, you know, leaving them or something, and they regret the decision. Sometimes maybe you do need to do the long distance relationship, but by all means, don't sacrifice your career. Don't just drop out of school for that man or that girl. Don't do it. Focus on yourself and focus on, because you can be in a relationship but still focus on the aspects of your life, because this is your life. You can't base your entire life off of another person's life, because that person's life and journey isn't your life and journey. So work on your life and journey. Work on your dreams, on your goals, on your aspirations, instead of focusing on another person's dreams, goals, and aspirations. It's great to support your partner, by the way. It's great to support that person, but don't let it where it's like you latch on so much and then that you forget about yourself. And then I also want to say, if your partner genuinely loves and cares about you, they will not allow you to give up on your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. Just saying. Like, we're gonna talk about self-image and degrading yourself and so on and so forth. Stop that. Stop it. I know we've all Most teenage girls have been conditioned to hate themselves. Most teenage girls have eating disorders. Most teenage girls have self-image issues and self-esteem issues and body image issues. And and this kind of ties into the growing up too fast and the BBL aesthetic. You are in high school. You don't need to have that BBL aesthetic. You know what I mean? You're in high school. Your body is still developing. You know what I mean? You shouldn't want to. You're 16. You shouldn't want to look 25. You know what I mean? I know it's a whole thing that, oh, Gen Z looks older, blah, blah, blah. Doing your makeup is not a bad thing. Like, people swear it's the end of the world because you're doing your makeup and it makes you look just a little bit older. Oh, well. I'm more, because when you're that age, that's when you're finding yourself. That is your identity versus real confusion stage, according to the Eric Erickson's theory, basically about development and growing up. When you're around like 12 to 18, 19, that's when you're finding yourself and you're finding your identity, right? So you're very influenced by a lot of things when you're in this stage, right? And it's not a bad thing to experiment and hairstyles and makeup. You're finding yourself, right? You're growing up. You're finding yourself. You're finding who you are and who you want to be as you go along, right? However, I feel like because we're so easily influenced and because of like things like the beauty standard and so on and so forth, a lot of teenagers think that they need to grow up so fast. That they need to grow up so fast. And that's not a good thing. I don't believe that's a good thing to want to look like you're 25 at 16, because that's kind of what is pushed onto you. And it leads to young girls degrading themselves, thinking that they're I think this might be my last topic. This is really more of like a yap sesh, but I do hope this helped you in some way, shape, or form, especially to the young girls out there. I know I'm a young girl myself, but I hope this helped. Have a good night or a good day.
It's not about waiting for the right time. It's about making yourself the right person to seize the opportunity whenever it arrives. It could be today, tomorrow, it could be any moment. But it's not about the moment. It's about being able to take advantage of the moment.